Behold the architectural soul of a century. This slide chronicles the 103-year odyssey of Chen-Ning Yang, a Nobel laureate who functioned as a living bridge between Eastern heritage and Western scientific rigor. Yang didn't just observe the world, he translated abstract mathematics into the tangible laws of physics, drafting the fundamental blueprint of our modern universe. As your narrator, I invite you to look past the geometric complexity to see the man who found harmony in symmetry. His journey represents an unbroken circle, a seamless fusion of culture and cosmic discovery that redefined how we perceive reality itself. It's a masterclass in bridging the gap between the theoretical and the universal. Chen-Ning Yang famously remarked, "My life can be said to form a circle, and this timeline maps that extraordinary orbit." His journey began in 1922 at Tsinghua University, leading through the wartime classrooms of Kunming to the intellectual powerhouses of the West. From studying under Fermi in Chicago in 1946 to his revolutionary collaboration at Princeton and the founding of the Stony Brook Institute in 1966, Yang's career redefined modern physics. Yet, the circle inevitably pulled him home. In 2003, he returned to Tsinghua's route-returning pavilion to nurture the next generation. This graphic illustrates more than a career, it depicts a century-long odyssey of departure, discovery, and a final, poetic return to his origins. Chen-Ning Yang describes himself as a dual entity, forged in the harmony and conflict of East and West. On one side stands his heritage, the son of a Beijing math professor, steeped in the philosophies of Mencius and Tang poetry, and hardened by wartime resilience. On the other lies opportunity, the Boxer indemnity scholarship that thrust him into the post-Manhattan Project brilliance of Chicago and Princeton. This slide visualizes Yang as a living bridge. He balances a deep pride in his Chinese roots with a devotion to Western scientific inquiry, eventually becoming a U.S. citizen in 1964. It is this unique cultural synthesis that allowed him to span two worlds and redefine human civilization. Chen-Ning Yang's intellectual reach spanned the entire landscape of physical reality. This slide showcases his mastery across four domains of physics: particle physics, field theory, statistical mechanics, and condensed matter. Whether uncovering parity non-conservation, defining the foundational Yang-Mills gauge theory, or solving the Yang-Baxter equation, Yang utilized the rigid mathematics of group theory to reveal hidden symmetries. His work consistently bridged the gap between the subatomic and the macroscopic, proving that universal truths govern nature across vastly different scales. By translating abstract mathematics into fundamental physical laws, Yang provided the essential framework for the modern universe, demonstrating a scientific versatility that remains almost unparalleled in history. In 1954, at Brookhaven, Yang and Robert Mills made a conceptually shocking leap, the idea that internal symmetries must be local. This radical move expanded quantum electrodynamics into the complex realm of non-abelian gauge groups. Initially discarded for predicting non-existent massless particles, the Yang-Mills blueprint was playing the long game. Decades later, it was vindicated as the foundation of the Standard Model, successfully describing the strong, weak, and electromagnetic interactions. It stands as a testament to Yang's profound intuition, the belief that the universe's fundamental forces are governed by deep, geometric symmetries. He didn't just propose a theory, he provided the essential dictionary we now use to translate the complex language of the cosmos. In the 1950s, the scientific world was haunted by the Tau Theta puzzle, a mystery where identical particles decayed in contradictory ways. This slide explores how Chen-Ning Yang and Tsung-Dao Li confronted the dogma of parity, the unshakable belief that nature is always mirror-symmetric. In May 1956, they proposed the unthinkable, that for weak nuclear interactions, mirror symmetry is broken. To suggest such a thing then was as radical as claiming gravity pushes upward. By questioning this absolute law, Yang didn't just solve a puzzle, he shattered a fundamental pillar of physics to reveal a universe that is far more nuanced and asymmetrical than anyone had previously dared to imagine. Step into a world where the mirror finally cracked. For decades, the expected universe was a place of perfect balance, where the law of parity dictated that nature never chose favorites between left and right. But reality, as visualized here, tells a different story. In the actual universe, the decay of cobalt-60 reveals a startling handedness. As predicted by Yang and Li, and proven by Chen-Ning Yang, weak forces fundamentally distinguish between mirror images. By showing electron emissions favoring a specific direction, this experiment shattered the illusion of universal symmetry. We discovered that at its most fundamental level, the universe has an inherent preference, a subatomic orientation that forever redefined our understanding of physical law. In 1957, a thunderbolt struck the scientific community. This slide commemorates the Nobel Prize in Physics awarded to Chen-Ning Yang and Tsung-Dao Li, a recognition that arrived with unprecedented speed, less than a year after their publication. At just 35 and 30 years old, they became the first Chinese-born laureates, shattering both subatomic dogmas and historical glass ceilings. While their theory upended long-held beliefs about symmetry, it was the meticulous experimental proof by Chen-Ning Yang that sealed this seismic shift. As your narrator, I see this not just as an award, but as a moment where the world of physics was forced to blink and recognize a new, asymmetrical reality, forever changing our understanding of the fundamental forces. Imagine two civilizations speaking different tongues, suddenly discovering they are describing the same sunrise. In the 1970s, Chen-Ning Yang became the translator for such a moment, uncovering the Rosetta Stone of physics and geometry. Working at Stony Brook, Yang realized that the gauge fields of physics were identical to the abstract fiber bundle theory used by mathematicians. This slide details the 1975 dictionary he co-authored, which mathematically equated physical concepts like gauge potential, mu, and field strength, F-mu-nu, with geometric connections and curvature. This wasn't just a comparison, it was a revelation that the deep architecture of our universe is built entirely from the bricks of pure geometry, fusing two distinct disciplines into a singular, elegant truth. Behold the pillar of a scientific empire. This slide reveals Chen-Ning Yang as more than a theorist, he was a master builder of intellectual communities. In 1966, Yang left the ivory tower of Princeton for Stony Brook, answering the call to transform a nascent program into a world-class research hub. For 33 years, his directorship sparked a magnet effect, where his prestige alone attracted elite faculty and major funding to explore the frontiers of quantum field theory and supergravity. By establishing the Chen-Yang Institute for Theoretical Physics, he proved that a visionary's greatest legacy isn't just a breakthrough, but the creation of an epicenter where the next century of science can take flight. Beyond the equations, Chen-Ning Yang served as a master architect of international relations. This slide depicts him as the icebreaker of 1971, when he became the first renowned Chinese-American scientist to visit the People's Republic of China during the Cultural Revolution. By meeting Premier Zhou Enlai, Yang leveraged his immense prestige to dismantle academic barriers. He acted as a vital bridge builder, inspiring overseas scholars to reconnect with their heritage and establishing the Committee on Educational Exchange with China at Stony Brook. This initiative sponsored nearly 100 scholars to study in the U.S., proving that science can transcend political borders. Yang's legacy reminds us that a single visionary can thaw diplomatic winters through the pursuit of shared knowledge. In his later years, Chen-Ning Yang stood as a guardian of scientific pragmatism, a champion for basic research. This slide illustrates the collider controversy, highlighting Yang's polarizing opposition to China's proposed 100 km circular electron-positron collider, CEPC. As your narrator, I see a man weighing monumental costs against intellectual growth. Yang argued that the project was a high-stakes gamble with no guaranteed returns. Instead, he favored strategic advocacy, insisting that curiosity-driven research and the nurturing of young talent are the true engines of national excellence. For Yang, greatness isn't measured by the circumference of a machine, but by the dispersed seeds of curiosity that cultivate a landscape of brilliance. He prioritized the long-term human legacy over the monolithic. The journey concludes where it began, the final arc of the circle. In 2003, after decades of global discovery, Chen-Ning Yang returned to the Tsinghua campus of his childhood, proving that even the most brilliant orbits eventually come home. But this wasn't a quiet retirement. At age 82, Yang returned to the lecture hall, insisting on teaching freshmen to personally ignite the sparks of future physicists. Finally, at 99, he opened his private world, donating thousands of manuscripts and personal items to the university archives. This slide captures the graceful completion of a century, a man ensuring his legacy wasn't just written in equations, but preserved in the hands of the next generation and the whole truth of his extraordinary life. We have reached the quiet close of a monumental century. On October 18, 2025, the world bid farewell to Chen-Ning Yang, who passed away in Beijing at the age of 103. As the last titan of 1950s high-energy physics, his departure marks the end of a golden era. Yet, as your narrator, I invite you to see his passing not as an end, but as a transition into eternal permanence. Yang leaves behind a universe redefined by his insistence that physical laws must be beautiful, intrinsic, and universal. Guided by the poetic wisdom of Du Fu, he built a legacy intended for the millennium, proving that the most profound truths are written in the elegant language of the geometric architect.